Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Ni hao ma. Welcome. Hi, this is Dr. David Phillips, and we are live for a live stream focused trance event. This webinar is on focused states or experiential trance methods for enhancing one's quality of life. What does that mean? Well, focus states. When I talk about focus states, those of you, I'm all loose up here. Let me fix this. I have now ruined it. Okay. When I talk about focus states, I'm really talking about focused trance or focused experiential hypnosis. Now, there's a difference between focus states and trance work and just random states. Okay, we're not talking about focused concentration, although that is a method, a means to get into what we are calling a focused state here. Rather, what we are mostly talking about here today is the idea of experiential trance. And that can come from conscious concentration as a gateway or path to enter into focus states. But it doesn't have to be that way. It could be a naturally occurring focused state or trance, which we can then co-opt or use for beneficial change in our life, or simply for a positive use, so to speak. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means a lot of things, okay? Some examples of focus state: reading intently and experiencing what you're reading as if it's happening in the here and now, or you have an intense emotional connection to the material. That's a focus state. Athletes who, say, a baseball player who is at the bat, and while he's got the bat up, the pitch comes in, and time slows down and the ball seems to get bigger. This is real. Now, time doesn't literally slow down. The perception or experience of time seems to slow down. It's as if it slows down. The ball doesn't actually grow, but it's as if it seems bigger as the athlete swings and connects. This is a focus state, or if you prefer, that's being in the zone or flow. Focus states can occur naturally, and they often do with premier athletes or performers. Back when dinosaurs walked the earth and I was a young man, and I performed a lot as an actor. My BA and MA, my undergraduate and first graduate degrees are both in theater, and I did a lot of acting from high school on. And one thing I experienced quite often was as I stepped onto stage. So backstage, I'm running my lines, waiting for my cue to go on stage, and I'm me. Okay, so I've got all the experiences of being me, and I might have butterflies or not, depending upon the experience at the time, or context of the scene, context of the performance. But as I step on stage, it often, and I felt this quite a bit, especially in my college years after I had mastered acting. It was for me a sensation as if my personality or my identity split and I became dissociated. I was both associated as the character, and I did that. I remember freaking people out when I was in Children of a Lesser God. I played the character born a deaf man, and there was a particularly powerful scene, and I stepped on stage and I suddenly was in that, and I had all of his emotions, and it really did. It just flooded through me. I felt everything, and I wasn't mouthing my words. I was saying my words. I was experiencing them naturally as if it was a conversation, and the emotions flooded through me. And as I stepped off stage, I was no longer that person. I was just me. And one of my co-actors, an actress who did a wonderful job in her own role, she had tears on her face, and she just hugged me because it was so powerful. And I felt that, but I wasn't just controlling a performance. I was experiencing that. But I was also dissociated. I was associated into the character, and I was dissociated as the person watching the performance, the guy who knew all his lines and where to walk and what to do, and watch out for someone forgetting their lines, because there were a couple of people who always forgot their damn lines. I tell my students at the university when I teach acting, learn your damn lines, but also be ready to improvise. So if something goes off track, you can get it right back to where it needs to be. And an actor needs to have some improv training and have a very clever and fast mind to seamlessly flow through that. Certainly for me, the biggest challenge for that was once again back in my college days. I performed as Joe Benjamin in Neil Simon's God's Favorite. And if you know that play, you know it's essentially the story of Job. And Joe Benjamin is on stage for 2 hours. He's off stage for about 30 seconds when he does a costume change. But I was on stage, and there's another character, the angel, who meets Joe, who is on stage almost as much as Joe, but not quite. He gets to get off stage for about 20 minutes or 30 minutes during the 2-hour show. And the actor playing that role had never played before. Director cast him because he had a wonderful Brooklyn accent, a very powerful personality, and unfortunately he didn't know his damn lines. He knew what he was supposed to say, but not the words to say it. So he was often going all over the place and just making stuff up, and I knew my lines, so I kept things on track, and I had to improvise within that. With flow, or a focused state, I could maintain concentration that allowed me to have that split of associated dissociation. Associated dissociation for an actor, and those of you who have taken acting from me, you know that sometimes I will, at least for my formal students, I will teach them trance acting. Trance acting is the use of naturally occurring trance states to create characters and to be a better actor. And so associated dissociation is part of trance acting, where you become the character and yet you are observing the scene and controlling the actions. You are both the puppet and the puppeteer, but you are an emotionally viable thing. This is not quite the same as what some Americans call method acting. Method acting is actually an adaptation of Stanislavski's techniques, but it's a partial adaptation. You see, Stanislavski, his early works got out of Russia, And so some Europeans and then the Americans, especially the 1950s, the greats such as Marilyn Monroe and James Dean, and of course Marlon Brando, they learned, Stacy Keach, and these guys learned the method. But one thing the Americans forget is that after those early books came out, Stanislavski was still working. He was still writing, and his technique, his approach evolved over time, but the American system evolved in a different direction. And some folks who pretend to understand Stanislavski's methods, or Stanislavski's technique, or do the method, that's the cliche in American movies of when an actor says, "What's my motivation?" And they need sometimes your motivation is just move your ass so I can see the guy behind you. But they need a reason for doing things, and that's part of Stanislavski's units and measures. But another thing they do is so many actors, they say, "Well, I'm going to play a prostitute, so I'm going to go hang out with prostitutes." A very famous example is folks who need to play a drunk, so they get drunk. And certainly Stacy Keach showed that that's a bad idea when he was on stage for Broadway, and his show for some reason closed real quick because he was drunk. You can't be drunk and play a drunk. I played drunks. I know how to play a drunk. I don't drink. I don't have to be drunk to experience the ability, to experience the state of drunkenness to a degree that I can control things. Certainly as a hypnotist, if you go to my web pages, you can see that I do hypno-drunkenness all the time. And it's very easy, very simple. I can feel drunk and still not be drunk and control it. So I can associate and dissociate. When I played, I was in a Shakespeare piece when I was in grad school, and I played Toby Belch. Yay! And as Toby Belch, I was supposed to be fat. I wasn't fat at the time. I could play him now, no problem. Falstaff, this is the body for it. But I was actually very thin, and I wore a fat suit filled with sand. It was incredibly painful. But I was supposed to be drunk, and I don't drink. I do not drink. My wife and I used to take one drink a year for New Year's Eve. Happy New Year, yay! A little taste. And we still sometimes take that little taste, but not as often now. For the most part, we're teetotalers. Not out of any religious conviction or anything, or alcoholism or anything like that. We just choose not to. I don't need to use chemicals to feel good. I'm a hypnotist. I know how to feel good. I've worked in pastoral care. I know how to guide people into good feelings and the divine or whatever. I just know ecstatic states. I teach ecstatic states. We don't need chemicals for that. I think if you're using chemicals, great. Please use them responsibly and use the good ones. But when I played Toby Belch, I was drunk on stage. And my students the next day, I had 3 classes the next day after they had seen my performance in the evening. They were absolutely convinced I was actually drunk on stage. And some of them knew what drunk looks like. But it's called acting. But in that acting, you can enter into a focused state. Athletes can enter into a focused state when you wish to accomplish goals of your own. You can enter into a focused state, an experiential trance. There are many methods of doing this, certainly if you're watching my live stream, or if you are Anywhere else, you can understand how to get more out of things through a focused state. If you're on my YouTube channel, you see all the stuff I've done previously on how to enter trance states or ecstatic states or hypnotic states. And I teach those things. Go to my web pages, and certainly you can find my web pages. I have a lot of classes where we have seminars that we do that are live. We do workshops that are live. We do the webinars here. We do a lot of things that help folks learn how to enter into ecstatic or focused or trance states. And certainly you can check out our video products if you like as well. But essentially, you use what's called an induction. An induction literally means a beginning or a path, or to guide someone into the focused state. And that induction could be of a variety of things. Usually they're formal. They don't have to be formal. The ones I tend to teach folks are hetero-hypnotic. That is, someone guides another person, but you can do them for yourself. A good auto-hypnotic or auto self-driven technique is to breathe. Breathing is awesome. Breathing is wonderful. So breathe. You feel better. You feel good. Just breathe. Now, how do you breathe? Well, breathe. You know how to breathe. Or maybe you don't. Take your hand, right or left, I don't know. Take your hand, press it on your chest, okay? Now I'm going to take my thumb, I'm going to make sure it's up here, up at the high part of the chest, and then I've got my pinky tops. My fingertips are down low. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to have it on your chest, right between the boobs, if you have boobs, and you do. You have man boobs if you're a man. They may or may not be big, but you've got them. All right, so right there in between the boobs, and then breathe in deep. Okay, now as you breathe in deep, hold it. Now breathe out. I want you to notice the movement of your chest. If you're actually breathing in deep, your chest should move. As the lungs expand with air, the chest, the rib cage chest cavity should fill up. Oh yeah. If you feel no movement at all in your chest while you're attempting to breathe, no movement at all, you're either not touching yourself, and I have just given you permission, go ahead, touch yourself, or you're dead. And if you're dead and watching this, stop it. Go into the light. It's okay. Or stick around the body and see if emergency services come. Either way, you have problems. But most of you are actually breathing, and what you should notice is this. Your hand moves with your chest. Here's what I want you to experience when you breathe deeply. It's amazing how many people have this issue, okay? It's not a big problem, but it is an issue folks need to be aware of and deal with, all right? If you put your hand on the chest, here's my chest, okay? Hi, how are you? It's on my chest. Okay, what a lovely watch collar I have. All right, so as you breathe in deep, some folks, only the upper part of their hand moves, only the thumb moves. I mean, because they are breathing deeply, but it's not really breathing deeply. They're breathing, but it's shallow breathing. And shallow breathing is usually only in the upper chest. So only that thumb is moving. What I want you to do is to breathe in a way that direct that air to into your belly. In Qigong, it's called belly breathing. I'm breathing through my belly. I got a big belly, so I'm going to breathe a lot of air, which is nonsense. No one actually breathes into their belly. That's called swallowing air. Stop it. But it's a sensation that feels like you're breathing into your belly because you're pushing the diaphragm, okay? You're filling up that lower lung, and that pops that old diaphragm if you're a trained singer. And some actors have training for diaphragmatic breathing. You want to pop in and fill up that lower part of the lung first, so it's as if you're breathing and the belly pops open. Not pop open, that's creepy. And if your belly just hurt me, go to the doctor. But it's sensation of it filling up. Then the middle part. So first, the lower part should move, and then the middle part, and then the upper part. That's what we're looking for when we do deep breathing. So, breathe in, lower, middle, upper, hold it. And as you breathe out, release the upper, the middle, and the lower. It's those slow breaths in and breathe that way. 4 or 5 deep breaths this way, diaphragmatic breathing. And you'll notice something. You relax because you're popping in extra air. Air has a fun thing called oxygen. Oxygen is a drug. It alters our state of consciousness. It's also a necessity. So it's not like you're addicted to oxygen. You just need it to survive. But if you get more oxygen into the system, so you breathe in more air, the system will oxygenate the blood, more oxygen pumping through the blood into the brain, and you feel, ooh, that's nice. Now you're going to not walk around town breathing that way. I don't want you to hyperventilate or anything, but if you're in a situation and you need to relax a bit, just do 4 or 5 of those deep breaths with diaphragmatic breathing. Now, here's the tricky part. It's not really tricky, it's very simple. As you breathe in, imagine as if you are breathing in relaxation or focus, depending on the context. If I need to be focused, I breathe. Oh goodness, that was not focus, that was relaxation. I breathe in focus. And for me, I make noise when I do that. Concentration. Breathe in whatever positive state. You just tell yourself, I felt that before, let's breathe it in. And as you breathe in, let your unconscious open up those sensations. So as I breathe in, I make it stronger. I feel as if I'm breathing in focus or concentration or skill or control of time or sensual experience. Whatever, just breathe it in. And as you breathe out stress and worry. Or tell yourself as you breathe out, you just relax more and more. As you breathe out, you let go of any tension or stress and just relax. Now, there's a reason I say breathe in the good thing, breathe out the stress, and just relax. Breathe in and breathe out. Because, remember, your chest expands as you breathe in. Something else happens too. These bad boys, your shoulders move. Breathe in, they go up. Breathe out, they go down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Up and down. That's why hypnotists often wait for the exhalation, for that breath out before they say, down, down, deeper down. Breathe in, breathe out. Relaxing more and more with every breath out. Breathe in, breathe out, down, down, deeper down. You're not going anywhere. You're not going up, you're not going down. But physiologically, you have the sensation of your body going down, slumping, feeling heavier. So we have the sensation of going down or sinking as we breathe deeply, and we relax more and more because of the oxygen effect. And so if we give the suggestion of going down, deeper, relaxed, it ties into the physiological cues, and the suggestion becomes more powerful. And we enter into this focused trance state, which can then be applied to context, whatever context you wish to. If you need to, tell yourself just 3 to 5 deep breaths. Relaxing more and more, that's great. Do that twice a day, once a day, 10 times a day. Whenever you need it, you just breathe a few times and let yourself experience this wonderful state. And it is a very positive thing, and it genuinely helps you out. Okay? Now, if I need it for concentration, I give the suggestion of concentration. I know what it feels like to concentrate. If I need flow for the zone for running, yeah, I'm not going to run, or for a sport, athletics of some type, I know what it feels like to be on mark, to be on game. And so I give myself a positive suggestion that allows me to be on mark or on game. And you do that, okay, whatever the context. If I want to feel a sensual sensation, and if you're familiar with my work, you know that I do a lot of that, then I give myself the suggestion for that. Or if I'm working with another person, I guide that person. If you're working with another person, you can use other techniques that are quicker and easier. And just go to my web pages for info on that. Okay. Now this has been a really short introduction to the concept of focus states. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for joining us. Be sure to click that subscribe button on YouTube and like our videos and share our videos and go to our web pages and check out all the other free and premium resources we have just for you. Please ask questions. If there's a question you want answered, I am very happy to answer questions. I don't do these videos just because I enjoy the sound of my voice and the sight of my pretty blue eyes. I do these videos because I genuinely want to help you. You, yes, you, and as many other people as I can. I get a kick out of helping folks discover their potential for many different contexts. So ask questions. I will never lie to you. I may not say what you want me to say because I had this annoying habit of speaking the truth when I answer these questions. But hey, if you have a misconception, I will help you figure that out. If you have a question that really needs answering, answer if I can ask. If I can answer, I will do my best for you. I hope this has been helpful for you. It's a short one. We missed last month because of all the holiday things, but we're back on track. And this month, we're doing 2 webinars. The next one's going to be much longer, guaranteed. And so I'll see you in a couple weeks. In the meantime, subscribe, like, and please tell folks to come on over to our channel and our web pages. For now, though, this is Dr. Brian David Phillips wishing you a howdy, howdy, happy New Year, and happy Valentine's. I am actually recording this on Valentine's Day. But Happy New Year, Happy Chinese New Year, and of course, live trance and prosper. Bye bye.